Review. Movie 1 review is created to empower movies itself. And of course, my legendary icon and co host, Mr. Bob Lambs.
Hey Daniel, how are you doing tonight?
I'm fabulous, Mr. Bob. And how are you?
I'm doing pretty. I'm a little tired. I was traveling, and so I'm a little. It was a road trip, so I had a lot of driving, and I think driving. I don't know which makes me more tired, driving or flying, but I'm tired either way. So
Is it both? Is
it's
it both?
both. I think it's both. Yeah.
Mm. But which
Staying
one
home
you
doesn't make
prefer?
me tired, but everything else does.
But which one you prefer?
Driving, oddly enough, even though flying is faster, I think driving just because I have a little more control over the situation.
Mm,
I can
yes.
stop when I want to. I can get out. I can walk around. Good stuff like that.
Yes.
Maybe if I haven't tried a train yet, maybe I'll have to try a train because you can walk around on a train.
Bullet
They
train.
really don't want you to walk around on a plane anymore. They don't want you to
Mm,
get up at all unless you have to. So
yes. Yes, try a bullet train next time. Go to Europe.
well,
From
actually, I have been on a bullet train. Speaking of that, I did enjoy that. I was
yeah.
over. I traveled through from Paris to Germany.
Oh, how is that?
It was good, and we went through Belgium, and we also went to Switzerland on a train. And I did. I enjoyed it, but I haven't. But that's been a while ago. So
Mm,
I did because the seats were better, more comfortable, and you could get up and walk around if you wanted to. And nice scenery. It wasn't just clouds. You got to see something, and it was very fast. I think it was a little over 200 miles an hour.
oh wow.
Yeah, it was. I don't think it was the TGV, which is the French, but it was like that.
Deja vu or deja J.
Yeah, TGV, right?
Deja vu. So you enjoyed the same as the movie that we're gonna talk about today.
True, I guess so. Yeah, riding a train is a little bit like this movie in a way. It's very visually interesting, and you're gonna move around a little bit, and that's a good show. But it is also very very weird. I see you got the graphic up there, and if you first glance at that graphic, you're like, oh wait, that's Emma Stone, right?
Hmm.
And then you look at it and you're like, wait a minute, she's got a hole in her chest and stuff is coming out of it. But you
What
don't notice
is
that
it?
at first, right? You don't
Yes.
notice that.
Yes, true.
So that's kind of like this movie. This movie was like you first start watching it, you're like, oh, this is kind of interesting. And then you pay a little more attention. You're like, this is really weird. It
Hmm.
was a very, 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 very weird movie. So we have Emma Stone, Mark Ruffalo, and Willem Dafoe are the main actors in this movie, and all of them did fantastic acting. Right there, there you go. There was Willem Dafoe back there.
Yes.
He
And
uh, he plays a character called Dr. Godwin Baxter, whose father was um, I guess a revered scientist, but he did a lot of experiments on him as his son, and he looks like a monster, right? So if you look at
mm,
his face there, he looks kind of weird, right?
like
And
Frankenstein.
then now he heads up back in. They don't really tell you what year it is, but it seems like it's turn of the century, right? So
Yes.
1900, and so he heads up the medical school that his father established, and was kind of an esteemed doctor himself, although a bit unorthodox, and he is much like his father experiments on people.
Oh wow.
And so
Y-
it's kind of got like a Frankenstein's monster kind of vibe going on, but everybody's Frankenstein, which is the weird part. So
Frankenstein, indeed.
Godwin Baxter is a monster in and of himself, and then Bella Baxter, who is Emma Stone plays, is a bit of a monster herself. And then the funny thing is, Mark Ruffalo plays a regular person, but he's a bit of a monster as well. And
Both are
that's what makes it
monsters.
so interesting. So yeah, it's so to kind of give you the lowdown on it is so Emma Stone plays this character. They call her Bella Baxter, but that's not really who she is. She was a young woman at the turn of the century who found herself pregnant without a husband, and she decides she's going to kill herself. And Willem Dafoe's character Godwin Baxter is this mad scientist of sorts, and he's on the lookout for a new experiment, and he has always looking for something interesting to do, and he finds Emma Stone, and she's brain dead, but he takes the brain of her unborn baby and
Oh,
puts it
wow.
in her skull. So then now she's just like an infant in an adult body. Are you following this?
Interesting. I like it. Go ahead, Mr. Bob.
So they really commit. I mean, Emma Stone totally commits to being acting like a baby in an adult body, and is very good at it. Really, I mean, it's very convincing, and it is it it takes that premise and runs with it. Right? What if this really happened? What if you could do that, and then how would that affect you being a baby who has all the functionings of an adult body? Right? So whenever you're little, you grow up, and you grow into yourself, let's put it that way. Whereas what if you're already grown up and your mind was that of a child? And they really do a good job of going through all this. Now it's um, I'll get a little bit more into that part of the story, but the director is Yorgos Lanthimos, and he has a style of um, a visual style that is totally different than what you normally see, right?
Mm.
Oh, there's another good picture there where she's, a big body, a little person. And it is like nothing that I've seen before in its presentation, right? So visually, it kind of they put on, if you look it up on IMDb, it's a steampunk and dark comedy and sci-fi. I mean, it's hard to pin it down, right? Oh, there's a good one. Leave it on. Go back to that picture there. So they kind of have they go to Paris at one point, and so they have this kind of Paris set.
Mm.
They're on a cruise ship for a while from the turn of the century, and then they're at Godwin Baxter's house, which is kind of a castle in the city kind of a situation. But anyway, if you look at that, it all looks fairly normal, but not normal. And that's the way the whole movie is. The whole movie was shot, I believe, in sound stages with a lot of special effects and so forth to give it more depth. But it is just I I won't say it's beautiful, because some of it's not beautiful, some of it's very ugly. But it's beautiful in its ugliness. The movie is, and the choices that the director makes are very strange. You haven't hit upon any of those pictures yet, but he uses like fisheye lenses, and to give this the impression that you're kind of a peeping tom in this person's life, like that. There you go. You see how that one. You see how that's all curved and looks
Yes.
so strange, and he moves the camera around like it's a mouse, seeing like a fly on the wall or a mouse in the room.
Mm-hmm.
And there's there on the cruise ship, that picture there. But it the visual style is just stunning in
Yes.
its the way it looks, and the detail and the sets and the backgrounds and everything is just phenomenal. And it's just a little bit weird, right? So it's obviously not the turn of the century. It's, something else. And um so it looks a little off, but
Mm.
you recognize all of it. And it's just incredible to watch. I mean, whether you like it or not is almost immaterial, because you can't deny while you're watching it that it's not incredibly visually interesting, which, a lot of
Interesting.
movies aren't
Yes.
like that these days. So,
Yes, it was set in like 17th century
yeah.
or
And then
18th
there's
century.
they have some black and white. It has some black and white in there. So anyway, to get back to the story, so we have Bella Baxter. And so Godwin Baxter saves this woman, and she's brain dead. So she puts the baby's brain in her head, and she behaves like a child in an adult body. So she does things that are not, um, definitely are not couth for the time period, right? So she's
Mm.
doing a lot of things. It's a very adult movie in the sense that there's a lot of nudity, and sexual, uh,
So this is the brain.
promiscuity. There, yeah, you can see that she's taking off part of her head there.
Oh wow.
and um and so Godwin Baxter just treats her like his daughter, even though it's not his daughter. He just saved her, right? And then this
Mm-hmm.
gentleman here that you see with her, he is a student, uh, with Dr. Baxter, and Dr. Baxter wants essentially to arrange a marriage between him and his adopted daughter Bella, so that whenever he passes on, that somebody will take care of her, right?
Mm.
And it sounds bizarre when I'm talking about it, but it is so wildly interesting as it unfolds in front of you. And and Willem Dafoe does such a great job at being Godwin Baxter, and she calls him God, right? So she'll be like,
Yes.
God, why is this, happening? And God, why? Which again gives it this whole weird nature to it, right? Because that's not in our society. You don't call people God, right?
True.
so so hearing that, it is kind of weird and off-putting in a way in our society, right? So Mark Ruffalo, there you see him. So he is kind of he's a wealthy lawyer who is Dr. Baxter's lawyer, and he gets infatuated with Bella and convinces her to run away with him. Now, he's a perfectly normal person, whereas obviously she's not normal. She's got a baby brain, and Dr. Baxter's not normal. He's just looks like a monster, and is doing all these weird experiments, kind of, under the radar. And but the interesting thing is, he's probably the worst person in the movie. At the very least, Bella is innocent, and Dr. Baxter is a product of how he was raised, right? So Nate, he that's the way he was raised, and so he's just continuing on that path. Bella is totally innocent because she's got a child's mind, even though she's doing things that in polite society would not be considered innocent, right? So she's having
Yes.
sex with random people. She runs off with Mark Ruffalo's character, the lawyer, but the funny thing is, he's trying to be manipulative, and in the end she's manipulative to him because of her innocence.
Mm.
And as she moves through the story, she begins to understand how things are working, and she starts manipulating them in her favor as opposed to letting him manipulate her. And the performances were all very good because they were really quite not Hollywood style performances, right? So it's not your typical Hollywood movie where you have a hero and the heroine
Villain.
and the bad guy and all that kind of stuff. Everybody's bad, everybody's good, right? And
Mm,
and as the circumstances unfold, they all react differently, um, depending on the situation, just like real life. But
true.
the it there's so much going on with the way that it's set up. If you follow this, if you follow the story and fall into the story that this could actually happen, it really opens up a lot of areas to think about. Why are we so worried about sexuality, right? Why do we get so offended by these things? And the turn of the century woman, has no autonomy. Why? Because even today, women, still have, there's a glass ceiling. They don't, aren't treated the same way as men. And it asks all those questions and sets up the story for them to happen in front of you so that you become questioning. Yeah, why is this way? And
The big
so
why.
even though, yeah, well, even though on the facade of it is like, putting the baby brain in a woman sounds ridiculous.
It's something else.
Yeah,
So
but again, very imaginative, very out there, but incredibly, look at that. Just go back to that Willem Dafoe scene and just look at the frame. I mean, there's so much going on, right?
yes,
It's just insane the amount of detail uh that was put into this movie to make it have a certain look. It's normal but abnormal all at the same time.
just like Mr. Doom in what is that?
Oh, Dr.
It's
Doom
Doctor Doom. Yes,
and Fantastic Four. Yeah.
Fantastic Four. Yes. Do you
But
think?
when I watched this, not thinking, I had read a little bit about it ahead of time, but not much.
Mm,
And I thought, well, maybe this will be interesting because I always like Willem Dafoe. Mark Ruffalo usually does a good job in movies, right? So, and Emma Stone as well. But Willem Dafoe was probably the person that I was most interested in seeing what he was doing, right? And and it just was like, wow, this is weird and interesting, and it's got it all. Even though I don't think it was very well, um, you know, I don't want to say not well received, but not super popular, right?
yes.
It came out in 2023. It's on Hulu if people want to see it. And I'd say if you're adventuresome and want to see something that you'll watch and you'll be like, I've never seen anything like that before. There's another like peephole picture there. If you go back to things that gives you like somebody's watching, um, but just a fantastically weird movie
Very
is
weird
how I would
indeed.
say what it is. And it is kind of sci-fi and it is kind of steampunk and it is funny and it is, I mean, it crosses genres. And I think the weird thing is, in 10, 20 years down the road, people are going to be, they still like this movie where, it's one of those kind of sleeper things where I think it's going to have more fans later than when it was released. Um, you know, Oh, I forgot there's male nudity in there too, which is not the
Yes.
norm in Hollywood movies. You
So
know what I
they
mean?
think, yes, so they think being good and being bad in a movie itself is good for Hollywood.
Yeah. Well, it's usually a little bit more cut and dry, right? So you have a good guy, you have a bad guy, and Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader. You have the two sides of the coin where in this one there's no coin. There's no sides. I mean, it just is what it is, and it's it
Something
it's
else.
weird. Yeah, everybody's good and everybody's bad. And the funny thing is, at the end, the people who are bad aren't necessarily good, but their badness is rendered useless, right? They used to use
Yes.
their kind of
Yes.
their manipulative ways to get what they want, and that becomes rendered useless. And so then they don't know how to cope. Mark Ruffalo is the character like that. So he's kind of very manipulative and getting what he wants, and then all of a sudden, Bella, Emma Stone's character, flips it on him and gets what she wants, and he's powerless. He loses it. It's very interesting. Very interesting
Movie.
movie. I mean, yeah, it's one of those ones that you have to see it to believe it.
Yes, see to believe it. Is it won any accolades or something
So yeah, I think
to be
that
proud of?
it did win a few things. Let me find that for you. I know that we've got some things that are. I know they won some. Oh, what do you want to call it? Awards. I think they won something at Cannes, and
This that story is good for the Oscar, right?
yeah, I don't know that they won any Oscars, but oh, that doesn't say that they won anything. I thought for sure that they did. If nothing else, just for how wild the picture is. Oh, okay, here we go. It won. It did win. It won 4 Oscars. How could I forget that? So makeup and
Yes.
hairstyles,
Yeah.
music, written original score. Uh,
Wow.
it was a nominee for the best motion picture, which it should be. A nominee for directing, and Emma Stone won for an actress. So there you go. I
Oh,
was wrong. I
congratulations.
forgot. I totally
At
forgot.
least the way you talk about the story, this is good for Oscar or any award-winning bodies.
Yeah. So I know you love the stats, and so
Mm.
a couple of stats for you here. So the budget was 35 million, which I the way that this
35
looks, it
million.
feels like they've spent way more than that. You watch a Marvel movie and it's not as interesting looking as this movie.
Mm.
It only made 34 million at the box office in U.S. and Canada. Worldwide, though, it made 117 million. So it
Not
did very
bad.
good worldwide because it really is a European movie.
Oh,
It's
that's
definitely
why.
got
Yes.
the vibes of Europe.
Yes.
It's not a simple uh,
Like
what do I want to say?
Hollywood.
It's like a paint by numbers kind of thing. This is a complex story with complex visuals. So, there you go.
Mm. There you go. Poor Things. Highly recommended by Mr. Bob. And well, I hope this movie Poor Things will be having a second sequel or prequel, don't you think, Mr. Bob?
I don't know. The From what I can tell, Yorgos Lathamos is not into sequels. So
Oh,
this is it. But he has worked with Emma Stone. He worked with her in a movie called The Favorite, which I enjoyed a while back. Again, another Oscar movie. And I think they worked together on one called Begonia, which is out this year. So we'll see what that one brings. I'll have to watch it. I've seen
yes,
The
you need to
Favorite.
watch
I've
it.
seen this. I got to see the Begonia. There you go.
You need to watch it, Mr. Bob, and then well, review it on on Movie 101 review for sure. And to wrap up our discussion about Poor Thing, how would you recommend it? If you rate it 1 to 10.
Yeah, we were doing popcorn buckets.
Popcorn meter. What you call it?
I would give it 5 popcorn buckets, but I'll be honest with you. Sometimes it's kind of gross, so maybe you don't want to eat your popcorn while you're watching it.
Oh wow, what is it? How gross it is.
Yeah, a little bit
I like
gross.
the sex.
So,
I like the sex scene for sure.
well, and it's got plenty of that going on.
Oh wow, I want to watch this. Is it available on available on
Now,
Prime?
but I'll tell you that some of those may gross you out as well. I don't know. It depends.
Oh wow. Can I feature on Sex 101?
Probably. I'm sure that it would make great discussion on Sex 101.
Awesome, awesome. So, Mr. Bob, kindly invite our listeners to watch this poor thing.
Yeah, you won't be a poor thing if you watch Poor Things.
Yes, poor things. You will be rich.
Visually rich, that's
Yes,
for sure. Yeah, visually rich.
rich. Just like Mr. Bob and I. For
There you
sure.
go.
So, Mr. Bob, thank you so much for another great, great entertaining movie that you featured for us. So, more to come, people. See you soon. Or would you like to plug in something, Mr. Bob? Your podcast itself.
Sure. If you want me to, Daniel. So if
Please,
you want to, you can
please.
catch me telling silly stories at staticradio.com. And obviously, Movie 101 review. And we'll talk more movies. Last time was
Movies,
Ballerina.
yeah.
This time, Poor Things. Who knows what next time will bring?
Yes, who knows? And please do stay tuned for our Comedy 101 coming soon with Mr. Bob. So
We'll be
tune in for that.
back in the saddle on
So,
that one.
yes, definitely. More to come, people. See you soon.